Good morning. Today I'm mostly planting strawberries, and it's going to be slightly different than normal, because normally I would rely on a plastic membrane over the top of the soil to keep the strawberries nice and clean. But 2 years ago I did plant strawberries through wood chip to perform the same weed suppressing function. And today I'll just show you a couple notable things if you're going to go try and do it down this route. I am trying to get away from plastics, and today is basically the culmination of a 2-year exercise into the method of doing this, and I'll share that with you and show you what I've done. It's nothing, it's not rocket science, it's just an adaptation of techniques that particularly suit strawberries. Let's have a look. Okay, so this is my method of getting close to no dig on a newly developed plant. When you're planting plants, you've got to make some sort of hole, some sort of disturbance. This is my way of trying to minimize it, but still achieving what I need to. I'm not actually digging here. All I'm doing is loosen the compaction zone, because this field is being transferred from old pasture that was once ploughed into a fully productive market garden, and I think it's worth loosening up that compaction level. So minimal disturbance, adding a little bit of compost down where the roots would go down to, and that will provide the fertility. The only real source of fertility on this will be the compost and a handful of volcanic rock dust. No fertilizers, just what you see. Now then, what I'm doing on the left hand side here now is digging a trench, which is not very no diggish, is it? But I've got a real problem with rhizomatous grass, couch grass, and the way to combat that is using a method developed by Richard Perkins over in Sweden, and it involves making a trench around your plot alongside the grassed areas, where you dig down with steep sides like I'm doing, nice sharp edges, and fill with wood chip. And then when the rhizomatous grass encounters the trench, it will effectively be air pruned. Find it very much more difficult to get through that trench. You'll see me actually fill it up a little bit later on, but this is the actual digging of the trench right now. Speeded up, of course. And the spoil that comes out of that trench makes the mounds that the strawberries will be planted into. I also will spread up through the middle a layer of compost, just to try and add a little bit more fertility, and then really old wood chip be spread on top of that again, but you'll see that in the video in a minute. So we finished all the disturbance, and now what we're trying to do is combat the couch grass, and by filling up the trench with rough wood chip. This isn't particularly great wood chip, but it'll do because it's all I've got, and that should provide a bit of a barrier against the couch grass. Let's see how that goes through next year and see if that works or not. And there's that sharp edge again, not so important on the second edge of the trench. Okay, so this is 2-year-old wood chip that's going to go down now. Now you'll notice that I haven't put the compost down for the trench in this particular caption, because I got so low on the actual compost that I had run out basically. So I had to sacrifice what I was doing in the previous caption. So it's 2-year-old wood chips, so there is some that's already decomposed, and larger lumps that will still have a long way to go. Basically what you're trying to do is suppress the weeds in the center, because you've disturbed the soil, you've disturbed the weed seed bank, so there's bound to get weed seeds. By having half of it covered in wood chip to a good depth, that should lessen the amount of seeds that will pop up. Obviously around the actual strawberries themselves, the amount of wood chip there really won't suppress it. But there we are. We just got to. I'll show you a close up of what I'm actually up to, so you can see firsthand what I'm actually doing. So a small amount around the actual strawberries themselves. Either side. And then a good amount down for the middle, so you've got a good depth down for the middle of the strawberries. All of these strawberries are all my own grown rooted runners, no bought in stock at the moment. This area that I'm actually working over here is the former Ruth Stout method, so it was the area that had hay only, and it's worked an absolute treat against the actual rhizomatous grasses. Very little of it survived. Yes, there will be weed seeds in there, particularly the grasses, but you can't have all success. You could have some, could have bear some of the cost of the of developing this land. Try not to bury the strawberry runners at all. This material will naturally sink down, so they will get gradually uncovered. But yeah, on the outsides I am putting very fresh wood chip. Again, this is just to have a build of material that will suppress weeds, and that goes down on the outside edge of both layers of the hills, as it were. If I had plenty of 2-year-old wood chip, I would use that down on the outside as well, but I just don't, so I've got to make do on these bits that you're seeing now. Again, just make sure the plants are uncovered. After the application of wood chips and that, so a couple of these just a little bit too deep, so don't be afraid to loosen them back up, reposition them, and then the mulch over the top, because you don't want to bury the crown. That's way too deep. It's pretty important to keep that crown free. The thin mulch on here probably won't stop anything, but what I'll probably do is apply a grass mulch come the spring of grass cuttings to the top of these. It gives a little bit of a fertility boost as it breaks, but the main thing is that this area shouldn't produce weeds because of that mulch of wood chip, and that's what I'm particularly aiming at. This one's too far down. Loosen them up, repack it, and that's much better. Even this one really. There we go, that's better. There we are, all finished. Sun's come out, and so is a very keen wind. More rain in the way. Thank you very much for joining me. I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.